What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Spud Reacts. In today's video, we are here with Walter again, and he's going to teach us some mistakes that tourists make when they head to Germany. Now, a lot of people might not know this stuff, so that's why it's important to do your research and to watch videos like this so you are prepared when you go there. It might be a while before we get to actually make it to Germany, but I'd like to have this stuff in the back of my head. So, without further ado, Walter, let's see what you have for us.
Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Walter's World, and today we're here in Freiburg, Germany. And today what we have for you are the mistakes that tourists make when they come here to Germany. And I know we've got the 10 culture shocks, and we have the don'ts of travel. Well, these are just the little tiny mistakes that tourists make that might take away from their great time here visiting Germany, okay? And the first mistake I see tourists make when they come here to Germany is they think Germans are cold. Look,
oh my gosh. That actually was one of the things every time I referred to Germans, because it's what I was taught when I was younger, and what I heard from other friends that were German, that they were cold-hearted. Everything that was more like brute, and that's just how they were.
Germans are not cold. They're hard to make friends with. That I will not deny. But the thing is, once you make a German friend, they're a friend for life, okay? They will be by your side till the end. And what's cool about it is I kind of think of the Germans more like an M&M. They've got this hard candy shell on the outside, and it's hard to break through. But once you break through that shell, it's really easy to become really good friends with a German. So think of
I like that comparison. However, I could take a Skittle or an M&M, and I'm sure you guys have done it all the time when you were younger. You would take it and you would just smash it. So I don't know how hard that shell is, but anyway.
Put it this way, on the outside of that candy shell, it's called Bekannte or acquaintance. But once you break through, you can be a true Freund, a really good friend, and they will be with you until the end. So do not think they're cold. That's one of the biggest mistakes that tourists make, because Germans can be fantastic people. Take my word for it, okay? Now, the second mistake tourists make when they come to Germany is they think when Germans are speaking German, they're actually yelling. Well, that's not just the case. It's just German. German is not necessarily the most romantic language you hear. Like, how would you like to hear this? Ich liebe dich, mein Schatz. I love you, my treasure. Yeah, it doesn't really sound so sexy that way, right? And the thing is, when Germans speak, it does sound very brusque, and some tourists are like, are they mad at each other? Are they yelling at each other? No, silly, they're just speaking German. Now, the next mistake
That's why
I see
love
tourists
Germany,
make, and you see this a lot here in a place like Freiburg, we have a lot of biking, and that is getting in the way of a German on a bike. Look, if it's a bike path, leave it alone, okay? That is for bike paths only. But the thing is, the Germans will go out on their bikes on the bike path or on the road or on the sidewalk. And if you're in front of them, either expect a little ding-a-ding, ding-a-ding, like a really rude, like little bell ringing,
get out my way,
or a good old hello. You'll hear that. That's when you'll hear some yelling.
They'll be like, bring, hallo liebe Leute, move out the way.
Okay, but just realize, Germans and bikes, you gotta be careful. Now, another thing is you might not want to do bikes going around. You're probably going to use public transportation here in Germany, because I'll be honest,
I did hear it is the best.
Yeah, the public transportation here in Germany is fantastic. It goes all over the place. A lot of times you can just walk in with your ticket. You don't have to worry about too much. It's really great. But the mistake that tourists make are that they think that the Germans will let them get off the public transportation before they come in. Look, you've got to be ready for your stop, and you got to be ready to get out when it's your turn to get out, because they're not going to wait for you. You've got to like shove your way through out of the S-Bahn or the U-Bahn or the bus or the tram. Just know that. And again,
well, that makes sense though.
It's just the way it is, because
you got to move.
And lines, they don't do a really good job with that, especially if you're going from a place like the UK or the US, where it's very much we have our line and we stick in our line. Oh, no. Here it's like a gaggle of Germans just waiting to get in, okay?
First come, first serve almost.
The next mistake I think tourists make when they come to Germany is they think Germany is just beer, and it's not. You actually realize Germany makes some really fantastic white wines, you know, like the Rieslings. If you get a chance to take a Rhine tour or go on a tour of the Mosel, go to a city like Cochem or a town like Cochem to go see the wine production, you will fall in love with the wines here in Germany. So don't think it's just beer, okay? There's a lot more.
So that is something I did not know, but I could expect that. I think all those countries would have a fantastic wine out there. I know when you think of Italy, all you think of is like wine and whatnot. But Germany, yeah, you do think of beer and not wine. But that's awesome to know that they do have really great tasting wine.
More than that. But a mistake I see tourists do make when they actually are having beer is they don't make eye contact when they cheers. Because in Germany, when you go Prost or whatever you like to say, you always must make eye contact. Otherwise, you can have a few years of bad experiences. And another mistake I see tourists
What
make when they're
experiences did
ordering
he
beer
have?
here in Germany is they order a national brand like Beck's or Warsteiner. What you have to realize is when you're traveling throughout Germany, every city, every town has its own brewery, and you should be drinking the local beer from there. For example, if you're in Braunschweig, you should be drinking Walter's Pilsner. If you're in Berlin, you should have Berliner Kindl. You have all these local breweries, and so enjoy those when you are here in Germany, because you probably won't be able to have them when you're outside of Germany. That's when you can have your Beck's and Warsteiner. Have the local stuff when you're here, okay?
I think that is actually a great point. Whenever you go to a specific city, you should try the things that are geared toward that city. I mean, because like he said, you could have, go anywhere you want and all those different beers will be there because they're like the mainstream ones. However, when you go to a local place, you should just have what is local to that place. Now, I think that is a great one.
Now, going back to a mistake I see people make on the trains, is what you have to realize when you take the ICE or the fast trains here, you don't have to get a seat reservation. You can just buy a ticket and go. And so sometimes the trains have way more people than there are seats. So the mistake I see people make is they don't buy a seat reservation. I mean, it's like a few euros to make your life so much easier. Pay the money to get the reservation. Otherwise, you might be standing the whole way or sitting by the exit door on the ground with a bunch of other people. No, make sure you get that reservation, and don't be afraid when you see someone sitting in your seat to say, excuse me, that's my seat. They'll be like, I don't believe you. Like, look, I've got my reservation, because the people that work on the train, on the Deutsche Bahn, they will ask them to leave too, so you'll get your spot. So don't be cheap. Spend that like 2 or 3 euros to get that reservation to have that nice seat on the nice trains.
Hey, those euros add up,
though. The next mistake I see tourists make when they come to Germany is they confuse the inattentive service of Germans to being unprofessional, which isn't true. Look, what you have to realize when you come to Germany, it's not the kiss your butt, you are a god kind of thing that you have in the US or the UK. Here, the people, the servers are there to help you make your order or buy your clothes, and that's it. They're not going to go any farther than that. But what's great about it is they are educated in what they're selling, about the foods they have and things like that. So if you have any questions like, hey, what would go good with this? They'll let you know. If you need another different size of clothing, they'll be glad to get it for you, because they are very professional and well educated in what they're doing. But don't expect it to think it's like over the top friendliness. They don't do that. But don't think it's because they're trying to be mean to you or something. That's just how service is here. It's more kind of efficient effectiveness versus over friendliness. No,
that makes a lot of sense. I actually like that. Being more efficient instead of all the fluff and whatnot. Get to the point right away so that I can experience more of Germany.
Make has to do with at their hotels, and that is expecting more than cold cuts and sliced cheese with some bread or rolls in the morning. Look, sometimes you'll have a Spiegeleier, like scrambled eggs or some boiled eggs and stuff like that. But honestly, German breakfast really is cold cuts and slices of cheese on bread. And that's what we have here. I mean, that's how it is. And honestly, if you talk to any hoteliers in the US, the UK, they'll let you know that German tourists will ask them all the time, where's your Brötchen, the rolls, and where's the ham and the cheese? That's what I want. Because that's what breakfast is here. And a lot of...
I bet the food there is actually just real. Instead of the food that we have here, that is just literally to make you sick, like 100%.
Tourists come here and they're kind of disappointed because they're looking for their pancakes and waffles and stuff like that. And that's not how it works here, okay? But the thing is, those rolls, go and try some of them. They're fantastic with the seeds on them, the different flavors. Oh my gosh, they're so good. So just fall in love with the bread and you'll be all good, okay? Now, another mistake that I've made too many times in my years living here in Germany is never, ever wish a German happy birthday before their birthday, because it's like the most bad luck. Like, you want me to have a bad birthday? You want me to die before my birthday? Kind of like greeting you can give someone. So just make sure it's always better to be late when it comes to birthday wishes than early, because they will.
That's very interesting. I am the type of person though that as soon as, like, I don't know, on Facebook or something, as soon as it hits midnight, then I say it, because anything before, I don't like that either. It's almost better to just be like, oh, sorry, happy belated birthday.
Will not appreciate it. And that kind of goes along with another mistake tourists make when they come here, and that is thinking that time isn't important. Look, in Germany, being on time is vital. When a meeting starts at 9 o'clock, it's not you show up at 9. It is you are already sitting at the meeting table with everyone, with all your documents
start
out,
at
your computer
9.
up, ready to go 5 minutes before 9. So at 9 o'clock, the meeting starts. Not the hellos, but we actually start getting down to business. So make sure if you're getting invited to a German's house, you're going to be meeting people for dinner, you are on time. That part is very important. The birthday thing, yeah, you can wish them happy birthday after the birthday, okay? Now, going back to the public transportation, I have another mistake people make is one, they do not validate their tickets when they're taking the S-Bahn or the U-Bahn or the tram. Look, when you buy a ticket for different things, whether you're Berlin or Munich or other places, you're going to get your ticket. And some of them will, like, they'll already say it's validated, but some of them you have to punch the ticket to validate it to get it going, because though you can just walk on the trains and the U-Bahns and stuff like that and the subways and things, that doesn't mean that they don't have checkers occasionally. And so if you don't do that, you might find someone with a badge going, hey, where's your ticket? If you don't have it, you can get a fine, okay? So make sure you don't forget.
Oh, I wonder what that fine is.
To validate your ticket. Also, when you're buying your tickets for the bigger cities like Berlin or Munich, make sure you know which zones you're going to be in, because you might be going into different zones and you might have a ticket, but it doesn't cover that zone, and so you might get a fine for that. Now, it doesn't happen a lot, but I do want you to be careful with that. Now, another thing with the tickets I would want to mention, a mistake that people make, is they just take the ICEs or the fast trains. Look, if you're going to be just traveling around a region like in Bavaria or around Brandenburg or something like that, get the Landesticket or the land ticket, like a state ticket. And what it does, it lets you kind of travel on the slower trains as much as you want for one day, but it's like up to 5 people.
Oh.
Like, I talk about the Bayern ticket a lot because you can see a lot in Bavaria on the local trains. So why not pay 50 or 60 euros to get like 5 people for a whole day going around and you can see stuff, instead of spending 50 euros on one ticket for one.
I wonder how much that gets you around like the entire country in a sense, though. You know what I mean? Like, can you only travel from here to here because it's so slow, and that's why people do the fast one? Or are you able to see like a ton of stuff? That's what I'd be curious to know.
One person going one way on the ICE, okay? So don't make that mistake. Use those tickets, especially if you got a group of people to do day trips. It really helps out. Now, when you're going around Germany, you might notice that sometimes your beer has one price, but they don't give you enough change back. Well, I have a little mistake that tourists make when they're here, and that is they don't return their beer glass or their Christmas mug or their glass or something like that, or their bottle from a drink or something like that. Because in Germany, they have this thing called Pfand. It's a deposit. And I know in the US, we have deposits on some bottles in some states, but they're like 5 cents, 13 cents. Here in Germany, you might have €2 or €3 deposit on that Christmas mug that you need to take back. So it can add up. So don't make the mistake of forgetting to take those things back, because you can get some good money back for those. And
but can you keep them though? I would love to keep something like that.
You don't have to move. You're sitting at somebody's Stammtisch. Look, a Stammtisch is a reserved spot for a group of people. And a lot of times at the beer gardens or the beer halls and stuff like that in different places, you'll see a little sign, maybe on the table or next on the wall by the table, saying, this is Heinrich's group's Stammtisch. And what a Stammtisch is it just means that, look, if that group comes, they get this table. They may have paid for the table or rented the table or whatever. That's their thing. And I know when you're a tourist, you're like, wait, I'm already sitting here. No. Doesn't work that way here in Germany. Those Stammtisches, that's reserved for them if they show up. If they don't show up,
that makes
it's
sense,
no big deal.
That's 100%
I just want you to
makes
have
sense.
a heads up for that. Anyway, these are just some little mistakes I've seen tourists make coming to Germany over the years, and I want to help you not make those mistakes, so I hope it does help you out.
Wow, that was actually really helpful. I really appreciate that, Walter. Are there other mistakes that he did not mention that really bother Germans? If there are, go ahead and comment down below what they are. I do think that the mistakes that were mentioned are kind of, small, but they may be very important, and very important to some people. It just depends on the person. Anyway, that's all I have for this video, so I'll catch you in the next one.